Now, my next guest is one of our favourite comedians and presenters, but as well as that, Frank Skinner is also a huge fan of poetry. And Frank joins me now. You're a lover of words. You know, a wordsmith is what a comedian is at heart. Were you surprised? This has become a massive hit, a poetry podcast.
Yes, I didn't think it was my most commercial move.
It's now paying the mortgage.
Exactly. It was totally... what is a mortgage?
Oh, look at you. All right.
No, it was a labour of love, completely. And I just thought it would be a little tucked away thing that no one will notice, but it'll make me happy. And then it started getting, like, you know, dare I say it, 5-star reviews and things like that. And it was, yeah, it's exciting.
The thing is, I think that we think intellectually or academically poetry is some sort of remote thing. But I know loads of people in my life who have really, you know, they might not think of themselves as academic, but find poetry a really beautiful, personal exercise.
Yeah, it gets quite a bad... I think the shop window on poetry is not very well arranged. Yeah. And I'm there... If you go into this slightly threatening building called poetry, I'm there with a torch saying, look, I'll show you the best bits. Just come with me. We won't be all hoity-toity about it. We'll just come in. And, yeah, that's what the podcast is about.
And, I mean, you know, you've inspired me. This is my book of poems that I've had for 26 years. It's called... But it's just funny. And the thing I find about it is that you love the humour that you can bring into poetry because it can turn ideas on its head quickly in a turn of a sentence.
Yes. Yeah, I like... There's a bit that... there's a line from a Sir John Betjeman poem where he's in love with this woman and they play tennis together. And do you remember those things, they called them presses, and they were things you used to put your tennis racket in and close it down? Yeah. And he says that in one line is the warm-handled racket is back in its press. And there's something very about that. And I don't know why. Yeah. But, yeah, they are... It is like the TARDIS on Doctor Who. They're very small things, but when you go into them, it's a massive, massive world. Yeah,
well, there's a brilliant one in here, which is by Dorothy Parker, who was famous for all her wit, wasn't she?
Yeah,
very funny.
she was and
it's one of my favourite ones. This is from when I was, like, 22, and it's called One Perfect Rose. And she talks about the perfect rose being the emblem of true love. And then she goes, in her last paragraph, she goes, why is it no one ever sent me one perfect limousine, do you suppose? Oh, no, it's always just one perfect rose for me. You know, the idea that actually it's just like a fancy meal and a nice posh night out, you know, rather than just the rose.
Well, I buy my partner a dozen red roses every Valentine's Day. And I was... this year, there was 60 quid. And I thought, I wonder if
But you haven't got a mortgage, apparently, so you're all right.
I thought, I wonder how low I could go before she noticed it wasn't 12. Could I get, say, 9? Yeah. And she's not going to count them.
Well, she will. She will now. But there's so much to talk to you about. Now, we must delve into this royal apology, because I know you've talked about it before, but it's such a brilliant and bizarre story. Well, Sophie Wessex.
I never said that she apologised, because I don't think it's right. I don't think... If someone apologises to you, I don't think you should tell other people.
But you're going to now,
Well, no, because... Yeah, what happened is I did the Royal Variety performance and then Sophie Wessex came up to me afterwards and said, don't give up your day job. And I thought, oh...
This is the day job.
I'd sung with... There's this football song that we keep bringing out.
Of course, yeah.
And I'd got a really bad throat and I'd done the trooper and battled through it. And I said... what do you mean? And she said, well, I could tell you're not used to working in front of a live audience. And I said, well, I'm a comedian. She said, yeah, but you've never done anywhere this big, I could tell. It was the Albert Hall. And I said, well, I did the Palladium on Sunday. Did you actually have this real conversation where you're sort of defending yourself? Yeah, and there was the slight sense in her expression of, you're not supposed to argue with me, just nod. But I think it was just a misunderstanding. And then I talked about it on a radio show, though. I do a radio show on Saturday mornings, and then it was... everyone was saying, oh, I saw that thing in this paper. And then it was a Christmas card, and it was... I have to say, she doesn't need to send a note to someone like me. Do you know what I mean? And it was handwritten, really lovely, polite, and I thought, this is one of the great things about the posh, is they know how to... do manners. Yeah, you know what I mean? Really good manners.
Oh, brilliant.
I'm a big fan of hers now. She's my favourite.
You see, have you ever had to apologise to David? Have you ever had to write a handwritten note of apology to David Baddiel in your 30-year friendship?
Texts I've sent a few, yes. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, Dave, type text. But not many. One of our biggest arguments was we was playing Trivial Pursuit, and the answer was Cleopatra, and he said Antony and Cleopatra, and I wouldn't let him have it. Because it was a pie question.
Yes.
And he stormed out, I think, and then he stormed out and realised we were in his flat. So he stormed back in again. But we've had very few, considering we've spent so much time and work together.
It's incredible. Well, I'll tell you one argument you did cause was this.
Dividing opinion, I hate Brussels sprouts. I can't imagine anything worse. There's as much chance of me eating that as being on Love Island. Thank you very much.
Now, that was you that caused that.
Because what you want ideally from that clip is that you're now going to announce that Lorraine's going to be on Love Island.
No. That's the story we would like to tell, but no. Now, she's a very happily married woman. Now, I want to know about this Sprouts and Cheese sandwich that you apparently said was your favourite sandwich.
Well, something I love, one of the great qualities of cheese... Ooh, I'm not a big fan of white bread. Nevertheless, one of the great qualities of cheese is that it melts.
Yeah.
And I love that. And if you take a cheese sandwich and put sprouts on it, then...
That's vile.
You see how it melts and they all sort of mould into one another. And then you've got a cheesy thing, but also a healthy thing, slightly Christmassy, you might say. And
I think you're having us on. I think this is a big joke.
And also, I don't slice the sprouts. I have them like... It's like a
big,
very...
lumpy...
It's a lumpy sandwich.
Just have a bite. I don't believe you until you eat it live.
OK, but the next answer is going to be...
He's actually going for it. There you go. You actually eat. You might have needed a prayer for that one. I should have said that, shouldn't I? A comedian's prayer book has had me chortling this morning. It is brilliant. A little handbook about what having a faith really feels like, and it's very funny.
Thank you. Yes, it's another celebrity prayer book. I know what you're thinking.
There's so many of them on the shelf.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's difficult to know which one to choose.
Ryland's on tomorrow with his, and then Joey Wessex. Essex, sorry.
It's brilliant. I know you're too busy eating for this.
No, I'm good. Yeah, so I pray twice a day. That's a lot of material. I thought it was a shame to waste it. So I put some of it in a book.
What I like is, as a final note, that Christian Today said it's far from a comfortable read. The Daily Mail says it's beautiful, so there you go.
The Daily Mail said it's beautiful. Hi, I have arrived.
I'm nicking this. I know that's not a very Christian thing to do, but I'm stealing it.
No, I think you can take that.
Thank you very much. You are fantastic.
You are.
Thank you for eating your sprout sandwich.
Let's just do that for a minute, saying you are fantastic.
You're amazing.
You are.
No, you're amazing.
I'd love
you
that.
can listen to Frank's brilliant poetry podcast now. Thank you so much, Frank.